Disclaimer. Some of our content varies per video and may not be suitable for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, in some content, we are critical of the video games, books, music, videos, and other creators on the platform. While we are a group-owned channel, our opinions expressed are solely on our own and may not always reflect the opinions of those associated with this channel. We at Novakast do not condone any and all harassment, i.g. cyberbullying, doxing, swatting, towards any of the people that we may be critical towards. Good lord, this is going to be interesting. By the way, how's it going, everybody? This is Rob Novakast back with another video, and oh my god, this is a trash fire. And honestly, I want to say with this particular interaction that this person is about to bring up, I kind of question on whether or not it actually happened. But anyways, let's go ahead and start with one of their community posts. Nutters are beyond psychotic. They're constantly admitting they at least fantasize about ending a human being's life over a damned dog. They never admit their role in what might lead up to a dog, hypothetically, getting itself confiscated, injured, or taken out of the equation. The peace and quiet and physical safety of people around the dog nutter doesn't matter to the selfish, entitled miscreant. First, I want to say I think it's interesting how you think or feel, or at least you just assume that everybody just fantasizes about this crap. I mean, seriously. Now, I will say that this is in context to a community post, and we will get to that in a second. But overall, how can you just assume that people are psychotic by an instance of, somebody commenting to you? If anything, I would like to add that this does seem like you are literally just trying to find the worst of these individuals and using them as your talking points. It's almost like there's more to a community than just the bad actors. But, let's face it, some of the people in the radical side of the dog-free community don't or cannot recognize that and continue to try to spew, although sharing some logical information that is factual, in a sense, spewing it in a way where it seems like it is irrational, immoral, and let's say unfactual, to the point where it's almost selective, and at this point only picking what they need to use as information in order to get their point across. Now, the original question was from someone else asking if they can legally shoot and kill their neighbor's dog if it invades their property. What's barking and or growling that led up to this lunatic telling me my life would end? As I keep saying in a lot of these situations, I think we need to look at this by a case-by-case basis. In a situation where, let's say, a dog goes into a neighbor's yard, I don't think the immediate reaction should be to try to shoot it or kill it. Now, I would say if in the event that, let's say, it looks like it has rabies or there's something wrong with it, remove yourself from the situation, go in your house, call, animal control, and they would take care of it. Unless you have a gun, in which case you can try taking matters in your own hands. However, if the dog is owned, there's more likely a chance that you may have to deal with litigation. due to you taking matters into your own hands. Which, again, considering the situation, and by the way, barking or growling, I mean, unless the dog actually attacks you, I would say that's questionable to still, take matters into your own hands. But honestly, again, I personally feel that as we deal with the dog situation, or at least the situation with aggressive dogs and other situations involving bad owners, we need to do this by a case-by-case basis. And I will keep saying that till I am blue in the face. But ultimately, I don't think we should immediately go for the drastic measure. Now, let's look at the post that he shared. And I'm going to be looking at this in parts, looking at the original comment, as well as the response, and then dude's response after that. I wish dog owners who knowingly kept barking pests who annoy and torment neighbors would go to prison, and that their dogs would all get euthanized. Now that'd be justice. So, first off, let's go ahead and offload that particular comment, because oh my gosh. So first, I think it is an extreme to send people to prison for having dogs that bark. And I think a lot of people will agree with me. A lot of people who are part of the, let's say, the community let's say, the dog-free community, acknowledge that dogs exist and that people own dogs, but will not go to the extreme to claim that they need to go to prison for that matter. Now, it's funny, and if this is the comment from K Nunn, by the way, this is the channel we're reacting to. I find it funny that periodically he's claimed that we shouldn't, that he's not calling for the death of dogs, but really he's, saying that all dogs should be euthanized. So, kind of funny there, and ironic that he says one thing and then says another. But going forward, let's go ahead and look at the response, which, by the way, is in all caps. I dare you to try to kill my dog. You're the one who'll end up dead. Pretty dramatic response, honestly. I mean, I think they've made the point across. But again, I feel like that, like with some of these individuals, especially when you make comments like that, you just are picking out the worst of the community to try to prove your point that people who own dogs, or people who in a sense agree or at least defend some of the people in the dog community, are psychopaths. Which, again, considering some of the people in your ranks, you guys have your own bad actors too. You guys are not the humanitarians that you claim to be. But going on to the last part of this, actually no, sorry, second to last part of this statement, because it gets better. It gets better. Publicly admitting you'd commit murder over a fucking dog. Brilliant move. If someone offed your dog, you would not have the legal right to end their life, and it certainly wouldn't be moral. You would kill a Terminix employee in the States for doing their job. It's kind of funny that he adds the whole Terminix thing, considering that they only focus on actual bug parasites or pests like termites, for instance. But overall, in terms of I guess comparing them to the people from animal control that would possibly euthanize a pet, which, by the way, unless there is something really wrong with the animal, they're more likely the chance that the person at animal control would try to rehome said animal. But again, that goes back to what I was saying before, that I don't think people would go to prison for their dogs barking whatsoever. That just seems like a very, very large extreme. Now, by the way, I want to add one last thing, and this was the note that this individual had put on their community post, and I find it to be really, really interesting. Note, I said nothing about killing this weirdo's dog. I don't know who they are. By the way, let's take a look at what euthanasia means, in case this person, clearly doesn't understand. Euthanasia, also known as mercy killing, is the practice of intentionally ending a life to relieve suffering, especially in the context of terminal or incurable illness. It can be either active, deliberately causing death, such as by administering a lethal drug, or passive, allowing death by withholding or withdrawing treatment. Legally, euthanasia is complex, with many jurisdictions having different regulations and some considering it murder or suicide, while others allow for it under specific circumstances. No key words there in that segment. Killing, and in some contexts, murder. So, you claiming that you said nothing about killing the dog is complete and utter bullshit. Euthanasia is exactly that. Killing, and this goes for, people as well. The practice of killing, or mercy killing, so to speak. So, overall, you did literally, even if this was actual interaction, I'm going to get to that in a second, you did literally say that the dog should be killed, should get euthanized. So, your claim that it was, or there was no intention of saying that the person's dog should be killed, or about being killed, is complete and utter crap. You know what you said. Stop lying. Now, overall, there's one last thing I want to mention, or at least kind of discuss, is, I want to say, it's crazy how this post came to be, where it comes down to, somebody literally, saying that they're going to kill somebody if they go after their dog. But here's the big question I want to ask. And I think some people might actually ask the same question as well. Did this actually happen? I think right now, I think the biggest question is this a legit interaction? Me personally, again, considering a lot of the times where you'll find a lot of these individuals, these individuals will, find these outrageous posts and outrageous comments. It makes me kind of wonder if, at all, that some of the comments, the posts that these individuals have shared in screenshots actually happened. And if anything, they didn't just create separate accounts in terms of creating these scenarios. I myself have seen K-Nun use 2 separate channels to leave comments. So it makes me beg the question of whether or not this individual actually had this interaction. And if so, or actually, if in the likelihood that this isn't actually a legit thing, he just created a new account just to create this scenario. I think that's the biggest question. But overall, I will say that if this was the case, then yes, this was kind of outrageous. But at the same time, you did claim that the person should go to jail and that the dog should be euthanized. So, in a sense, you kind of are in the wrong. So, anyway, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys can, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care, and I will see you guys next video. Take care.